what do you think will be the most fond memory you take back with you?
I'd have to say, and this is on a lighter note, just our group. I have enjoyed our cast of characters. We have had the best time. I mean, different age range,
Yes.
you know, varying ages, coming from different parts of the country. You know, people have different professional experiences, but when I tell you
Within hours. It's like,
we got in the van and immediately it kicked off. Like the party started.
I thought y'all had I thought y'all set up something. I was like, what y'all doing over here? Y'all, how do you know each other so well and
Right.
already connected? Hey everybody, welcome to another Maximum Impact Travel Experience Recap. And I'm talking to Harriet Pritchett. Now, she joined us for this experience, but there's a story here that we're gonna get into. But before we get there, how are you?
I'm good. I mean, I say I'm good. This has been a week to remember.
Okay.
Like physically, energy-wise, I'm on E.
Really? You
I am
are
on E. I'm on E. Like the tank is empty. but like spiritually, like
Yes.
emotionally full. Like I'm leaving here with more of an experience and just what I expected. Like
Really?
it has been surpassed. So I'm gonna try not to cry on this video.
Well, people have been crying. So it's
Yeah, I don't.
So why
wanna
would
do
you
that.
cry? Why do you say you try not to cry?
I would try not to cry because I want it to be a good video that I don't mind you playing. That's one. But the other thing is just like I think people don't realize there's so much emotion and there's so much that's in us that comes out, like that's being unlocked when we get here and connect to everything we may have already thought about or wanted to know or have been told and wanted to confirm. Like, for me, that's what happened.
What are some of the biggest lessons that you're taking away from here?
It's like the possibility. Because, you know, I'm a professional. You know, my parents kind of instilled in me just understanding your history.
Oh, they did? Okay.
Yeah, I went to a Muslim private school, so that was part of my early teachings. So I've always had this thought, like, you know, hey, we need to know our history. We need to be proud of our history and proud of who we are. But when you go into certain spaces, that's not always like the expectation, or that's not always, you know,
Right.
accepted. You know what I mean? Right up front. So for me, I feel like, you know, it's a pilgrimage. It's something that you need to go do.
So you think people need to do this?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. And not even, you know, I don't even want to come at it from a race thing. I think if you're an American and you care about our country's history, then you need to go visit these spaces and be in these spaces and places to understand what actually happened.
So even people from other ethnic groups should, because I mean,
Yes.
because people think this is a black people's thing, and you need to go back and get your history, but they were just as miseducated and misinformed as we were. But they don't
Yes.
think, and I think that's another subtle form of white supremacy. To say, well, that's your history, but really it's all of our collective. When you really get on this side of it,
Yes.
you're like, wait a minute, y'all are part of this too. Your folks over here,
Yes.
them Dutch dungeons and Portuguese dungeons and British
Right.
dungeons are part of it. So that it does it. What do you think someone from another ethnic group would get from this? We know from what you explained what we might get from it. What do you think they might get from it?
Yeah, so a lot of different things, but what I'm focused on is like understanding the why behind it all. That's it for me, because you know, you learn what you learn in history. you experience what you experience, and that's why I said professional, in the professional world, and then everything that happened last year, it kind of came to the forefront, and everybody was forced to deal with the situation from one point of view or another. Like you said, all races, all ethnicities. It was something that our country needed to face and discuss and deal with. So just going back to...
What are you referring to exactly?
Well, so we were in the middle of a pandemic, and George Floyd was murdered
right there.
Yes.
By supposed law enforcement.
Right. Who, so that whole situation that
so
happened.
all of the culmination of all of those events was like a wake-up call, a reckoning for the U.S. and the world.
Yes.
Because then you saw the uprisings everywhere. People, I guess how they felt about some of the law enforcement in their own countries.
Right.
And you saw people from all ethnicities.
All over the world. All over the world. Yeah. So then when you look at something like that and you see how embedded it is and just ingrained it is, it's just a part of who we are and where we are, you can't help but ask and want to know, like, what is the why behind all this? How did we get here?
What did you conclude the why was?
Well, it's the racism,
okay,
and how our country started, and what that just sort of, I want to say expectation, or just expectations of the way things were and the way they would continue to be. And it's just perpetuated.
But there are people who don't believe that. They believe that the country started on holy terms and righteous terms, and that yes, it has a difficult history, but we've now moved past that, and we're now moving towards a brighter day.
Yeah.
And
that would be ideal for me, because just my spiritual beliefs is all about peace. It's all about people coming together. Mm-hmm. So as much as that is very idealistic, I still want that to be the case.
Yeah, right. But the realities are something completely different. It's like okay.
Yeah.
So how do we reconcile that then? What do you? And maybe you're still processing this, because it might be, because sometimes I throw questions out there and it's like people need to process it. Like I'm still here. We're not even done with the tour yet. We still have a little bit more left here. But it's like, why do you think it's important for our young people to come? Those Gen Zers, those young millennials. Why do you think it's important for them?
Well, learning, going back to the same thing, having an understanding, knowing what happened. And taking that and having that as a part of, how you operate, you can, so this is what I said. Some people say, oh, why relive something that happened almost a half a century ago? Well, because when you know that, you have a sense of that, then you can help shape, I feel like you can help shape what happens half a century from now.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Just that awareness is important. So I'll give you an example of what I'm going to teach my son when I get back. Is that, we learned that the Portuguese and the Dutch were the first who were involved with capturing African people and sending them into this, system. But the tour guide, we learned that there were really 3 different reasons and phases of all of that happening. And it wasn't just the Dutch or it wasn't just those European people who were involved.
Yeah, a lot of people involved.
There were Africans who were involved and contributed to that.
Yeah.
So it's important to understand that too, and then you start to get all the perspectives, and then you start to be able to tie it to, was this about business? Was this about religion?
Right.
How did all these pieces come together? And not just have that narrow one-sided view.
And what's the narrow one-sided view?
The narrow one-sided view is that, Africans got captured by white people, put on slave ships, were sent to America, made to work as free labor, were murdered, and part of that is true.
Right.
Were murdered, were demoralized, had their culture stolen from them, had their families ripped apart, just all these atrocities that happen. We know that, but there's some...
It's deeper.
Yeah, it's deeper than that.
It's layers of complexities that go with it. And when you get that part of it, that's probably why I can look and say, well, some of my people of Europe, my friends of European descent, are just as miseducated as we were, because even if they're told one particular thing, oh, our people were just horrible people, and so they're feeling guilty.
Right. That's why, and so circling back to that, I think it's important. That's healing. When you start to understand why, and when you understand the intention, and you can see the roles everybody played, that's healing.
Yeah. And the roles everybody still play. Because even it's still happening to this day.
Right.
On some, it might not be chattel slavery, but it might be in our neighborhoods where we have, and this always gets a little controversial for folks, but in our neighborhoods where we have all elected black officials and things don't change.
Right.
And it's like the money's coming through black hands, going to black people, but the black people still stay impoverished.
Right.
You have African governments that do it. Now, that's one piece of the puzzle, but then you have the racist elements, the white side, that's probably controlling or doing, you know, so you have complexities. It's not just black or
It's
white.
not black or white.
It's like it's a lot of different things, but we don't want to ask we don't want to ask that question, like, why do things stay the same? And we've elected some of these same people over and over, and they look like us, they talk like us, but our schools still suffer some of the same things. So that kind of reminded me of the complexities of that chattel slavery, and even in East Africa and Trans-Saharan. So you had all kinds of things going on. What when you think about this experience, what do you think will be the most fond memory you take back with you?
I'd have to say, and this is on a lighter note, just our group. I have enjoyed our cast of characters. We have had the best time. I mean, different age range,
Yes.
you know, varying ages, coming from different parts of the country. You know, people have different professional experiences, but when I tell you
Within hours, it was like,
we got in the van and immediatally it kicked off. Like the party started.
I thought y'all had I thought y'all set up something on, I was like, what y'all doing over here? Y'all, how do you know each other so well and already connected like this? But I mean, it, from the beginning, because on the Zoom when everybody got together, I was like, people hiding their faces and stuff. You didn't hide yours, and I don't think Yolanda hid hers. Rose, Michael.
She was on another
Zoom at the same time. I said, I don't know about this group right here, but everybody clicked.
Right.
So you'll remember the group fondly.
I will, but I have to accredit it or attribute it to just how you organize the trip. And like, again, everybody's been saying A++. It's coming from me too, because you have it well organized. You understand what the experience needs to be, and I think it's because you've done it.
I've done
it. So you talk about when they say work out the kinks, you clearly have worked out all the kinks.
Oh, wow. Wow.
Yeah.
Now that means a lot coming from you. Okay,
yes,
wow.
Yeah, so I had and you say, I was never worried about being safe. I'm somebody who will go to Ninth Ward in New Orleans and hang out. You know,
wow.
I'm not.
You're that person.
I'm not.
Okay, you can.
You're right. Just like I can clean their plate, like I'm good.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Clean the plate. We don't talk about that.
Yeah, I'm not worried about being safe.
Did you ever feel as though the people here didn't like you?
Can I be honest?
Yes.
It's like a warming up to.
Warming up to you.
Yes.
So tell me, where did you have that experience?
So like when I got here, because I was, you know, when I first checked into the hotel, you know, just sitting down at the bar or in the lounge or whatever, people would look and they immediately know. I think they just know. There must be a look or something.
Yeah, but you don't look like you could be like something else too. You look like you could have like a Mali kind of Ethiopian kind of vibe.
Okay.
So
well, maybe it was me then projecting.
Well, I'm gonna say this. I've seen that happen.
Yeah.
I've seen people come over, and because that was a part of what they were believing, they were hypersensitive to every move. Like they don't like me because it was. Now I'm not saying that was you,
Yeah.
but I'm saying I've seen people do it. That they had listened to what somebody had told them so much that anything that the people minding their business. Now, if they did something blatant, then. But I don't know.
It was just, it's just that.
It was a vibe.
It was a vibe, and it feels like they, the people here, they're just not. And see, I can appreciate this because it means it's genuine. They're not just at hello, your best friend.
Gotcha.
They need to get to know you. They want to understand what you're here for. Well, and now the people in the markets, it's a little bit different because they have a motive.
Yes, they do. It's monetary. A monetary motive.
Yeah, they have a motive, but I'm just saying in general,
Yeah.
like in general, overall, I feel like people need to warm up to you first
To see what you're all about.
before you feel that welcome home.
Do you think some of that could be from what they've been told about us?
Yes.
Because I've had people tell me straight up that the way that they have been treated by some of us who have come over here, treated them like trash, treated them with like this attitude. I'm not going to say I wasn't going to go as far as I could go with that, but this uppity kind of attitude, and they would come in and treat the people like they were worthless, like they were slaves, basically. And they told me here at the hotel that they always appreciate our groups because everyone is so respectful. But
Yeah.
they said during the year of return, some of our folks didn't represent us well and came through here and like a tornado.
Yeah.
And so sometimes if they've had those experiences or, because they've been told a narrative about us,
Right.
that
That's
we think
true.
we're better, we think we're coming to save them, and they better be happy we're bringing our money. It's all of these little plays.
terrible.
And sadly, they'll use us or them, somebody. They'll use a puppet figure to like circulate that information. So, but no, that's real. I appreciate you being honest. I mean, because that's your experience, and that's what you
Yeah.
felt. And maybe for someone who's watching, being mindful of some of the sensitivities that we might have, or some of the things that we're watching for. We've been told that people in Africa don't like us. And that's been told over and over. And it's not necessarily white people telling us that. It's like black people telling us that. Like black
Right.
Americans tell, I'm not going over there because they don't like us. They sold my ancestors into slavery.
Right.
I went into an exchange with a dude on YouTube, and he thought I was from Ghana. Your people sold my people into slavery. I said, hold up, Jack. I said, I was born in Charleston, South Carolina. I said, I grew up in D.C. I said, what you talking about? I said, if through him, it's like his whole mind was messed up at that point. I said, you sounded silly now. I said, what are you talking about? And so I think part of what these trips do is to educate us on that level as well.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Because the one thing that's important for me is at the end of the day, it's like people coming together. So yes, again,
But that's
ideally for me, that's what I would like to see.
But that's what Victoria said. She talked about being with us.
Yeah.
And she said, I appreciate everyone coming here and wanting to learn about us. And she enjoyed just that whole bond. And I thought that was like a real essence of someone who's Ghanaian.
Yeah.
But then also being a part of the tour.
Right.
Yeah. All right.
Right.
I want to talk to you about your health journey because you are plant-based only.
Yes.
You have this amazing Instagram.
Oh, thank you.
The color of, the pictures, you took the pictures. I'm sitting there, I got to grow me some cauliflower. I got to do something. I need
Yes,
to go
you
grow me
should.
some bell peppers, I need to grow everything. Well, however you took
We
the
should
pictures, you
all.
spent the time taking the pictures. I was like,
Yes.
Wow. So how did you, now have you always been plant-based?
No. I haven't been plant-based.
So you've had a Big Mac before in your life?
Unfortunately, yes.
Some fries?
Well, I still eat fries
Oh,
now.
right.
I eat a lot of Chick-fil-A waffle fries.
Okay, so that's plant-based. So you've had a steak before,
Yes.
and you've had some lobster in your life.
Yes. Yeah.
All right. So that's just kind of to let everybody know that. How long have you been on this journey?
I wasn't born vegan.
Okay. So how long have you been on this journey?
So 2017.
Okay.
2017.
So 4 years.
Yeah, about 4 years.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it was gradual. I mean, I had tried it before, and didn't see any major results. But I think everything is about timing.
Okay.
And for me, that's what that's what I think has happened here. It's just the timing was right, because it was this wave of things that were happening. Like I did a juice cleanse.
Okay.
And just a friend had recommended it, so I did it, and it was like this 3-day fast of
And just
nothing
juice.
but raw fruit and vegetable juice with some herbal teas and water.
Yeah.
And that was all I had for 3 days. And that's what I mean by timing. I guess I
Yeah.
could have done this at any
Before.
point, but after those 3 days, I just felt something that had changed in me. Like, first of all, my palate had changed, like what I had a taste for. And I was hungry as all get out.
Oh, I'm sure you were. I've done a 48 hour before, and I know at the 48th, I was like, but after a while, it kind of goes away.
The hunger goes
Yeah,
away.
yeah.
And because your body adapts.
Yes.
I mean, the body is an amazing system.
It is that.
It's an amazing system, and if we just learn about it and understand it,
It'll help. This is
it-
really what you put in is what you get out.
what you get out, yeah.
Now, what prompted you to finally say, all right, I'm going plant-based, I'm vegan, this is how it is?
Well, it was so after the juice fast, it was like, wow, I feel so much better after this.
So why'd you even go on a juice fast?
The friend recommended it. It was.
Darren on a juice fast.
It was after the Christmas holidays when we had been binging on
He need a juice fast.
sweet potato
Everything.
pies, alcohol,
You had to go
just
there. You had to
everything.
get sweet potato pies. Yeah. Sweet potato pies.
No, but have you ever had a vegan sweet potato pie?
I have.
Okay, good.
See,
Yeah.
I get around. I get around. You'd be surprised where I've been in this journey. But yeah, it's I've had it. It was very good.
Excellent.
Yes.
Yeah,
The
and
crust
you
and
can't
everything.
even tell. Like
No.
it's like you don't miss these things that you really don't need.
No, you
know
didn't.
what I mean? So yeah. I mean, to make a long story short, I did the juice fast. I felt so much better, and then I decided, oh my God, like what if I could just do this all the time?
Mm-hmm.
And that's what kind of prompted me to say, well, this produce is expensive. What if I start growing these vegetables on my own? So I started gardening.
And that's-
Now, I was as amateur as it gets.
Hey, you put a seed in the ground with some water and get that soil right, and you can start. You can start.
I didn't know what I was doing, so I started gardening from there. And then when you go, I was an amateur, so of course I'm looking for information, I'm doing research. But when you get into some of the research and Instagram and all this, it's like a community of people. And it's funny how there's specific elements really to this lifestyle. So juicing led me to being led me to gardening, and then gardening is what led me to being plant-based, because
Right.
a lot of those people that are growing their own natural foods understand the benefits of that, and they know. You see where I'm going with this? They know that really fruits and vegetables, nuts, grains, all that stuff living foods
Right.
is all we need. So I started getting that message. Like, listen, these food groups are important. We don't need to eat animals to survive.
So yours is more from the standpoint of the living. Well, you obviously had results.
Yeah, I did have results, and that's the thing. So I kind of skipped over that, but it's important. It's an important part too. So I said I felt great in the sense of mental clarity. Mental clarity, just calmness. Because I've had, anxiety and what we all
Right, just
experience,
different
just
human-
life challenges.
right,
Yeah,
exactly.
period. But what changed in me is how I dealt with those challenges.
Understood. So now you were dealing with your diet, which a lot of people deal with those challenges by way of food
Exactly.
or some sort of, food, alcohol, or drugs, or
And it perpetuates it.
exactly, and then it just keeps going and going. So you found a healthier way for you
For me,
to be able to.
yeah, that's important. For
Right,
me,
for
it
you.
worked for me. Yeah.
Right, because I think that's the part for you. This is what has been working. how did your did your grocery bill go down when you started going? I got to speak practical. I got to hit them on all levels here. I can't do no vegetable. So you can deal with that money when you ain't got to pay for that steak no more. And that steak, that $45 for that steak.
Oh, that part of the bill goes down when you go out to eat.
See what I'm saying? See,
yes.
I'm coming from all angles there.
Yes, yeah, for sure.
But I guess you don't grow all of your food.
No, I would like to. I mean, that's the ideal state.
I was about to say something that probably would not have been, but I think I'm going to say it.
Okay.
I'll tell you like this. She put down this plate of food, y'all.
Oh, yeah. Go ahead. I mean, it's not a secret, Jay.
She put down a plate of food that are grown like me. I struggle with. I break mine into like 2.
Yeah, you do. I'm like, okay.
I broke it into 2 days. There was a vegan dish. The best thing, tatale right here in Accra.
So good.
It was the truth. The vegetable stroganoff with the cashew nut sauce and the brown rice. Anyway.
Like if I don't get on the plane today, that's going to be one of the reasons why.
Because that tatale was.
Because I got to get back to tatale.
Because she ate the plate, and I looked. I said, well, all right. I said,
yeah.
So anyway, that's
really
what
good.
I was going to say. So that's why my joke was to say, well, no, the grocery bill. Because I was like, what?
Wow. That's how you do me.
I'm sorry. Y'all know I got jokes. Y'all know. So, but it goes to show that you still can eat well and be vegan.
Yeah.
Because some people think that, I'm just going to eat a green bean and a
salad. Yeah. Now see, that's another thing I mean by timing, because I remember going to cultural festivals and just things, street festivals like that 10 years ago, maybe 15 years ago. The options weren't what they are now.
Got it.
And I think people are waking up to the fact that there are alternatives. Maybe it has something to do with the environment, and that there is a crisis that is imminent. It's not even imminent anymore, it's here. So it's necessary to look for these alternatives because what we're doing is not sustainable. So, you can eat well because there are alternatives. And really, you say well, but I say eat what you need.
See, I'm learning.
The
reason why I wanted to have this interview was because I'm learning. I watch. See, I pay attention. Everybody, it's like you all have a great time, but I meet amazing people, and because I meet amazing people, I learn different things. And so I watched her. I whether or not you were like legit, because sometimes people get away, and then they lose their minds and they start eating everything. And she was like sticking to it. I was like, wow.
Right.
She's for real. I was like, okay.
Yeah.
And then I'm listening to the why, and you don't impose it on anyone. You don't say, no, y'all better look at y'all eating all that dead flesh over there. Look at she might be thinking it, but she ain't
it's not that I don't need to say it.
Look, what are they doing to their insides? What is wrong with them? They're going to mess themselves up. They're going to have all types of fake worms and everything.
But see, I won't be thinking about them. I'm thinking about that poor animal.
Now, that's the other part that you talked about was when we ingest the meat, we ingest the traumas.
We're ingesting terror. We're ingesting murder. See, this is I don't want to go there.
I got you. But when you said
terrible.
it to me, I never thought about the processing plants and how the different animals are held, basically like our ancestors.
Ooh.
When you said that, then I was like, wait a minute.
Yeah.
And it just got me thinking in a way that I did, but you never imposed it. You just shared why you were doing what you were doing,
right.
Which I had never considered. I was like, I've seen the documentaries. I watched What the Health. I've watched all of them, and it's like forks over knives.
So many.
But when you said that, I was like, and I said she's doing it, and she's getting results. Interesting.
Yep.
Can I eat it tatale every day?
I would.
I would too. That's the truth, y'all.
See, you could have dropped me off there every day, and I'll be there when y'all get back circle back, pick me
I
up.
thought about trying to work it out.
It would be me and Tiara.
Yeah.
Just drop us off.
Yeah, I thought about it. I was like, how can I make this work? And then I thought about that traffic.
Oh, yeah.
Then you might stay there overnight, and then that turns into a whole other problem. Anyway. So, but you talk about the traumas with the animals, and then you talk about, so you realize that.
Well, so I follow like experts on, scientists that look at the gut-brain connection. I mean, your brain is a network, neural networks, that flow and send messages and communicate to the rest of your body and tell it what to do. We know that part, but the gut, the stomach, is full of those same, neurons.
Right, because of that. Yeah, the stomach. Yes.
And so it's sort of a two-way communication channel. And so what you put in your stomach, yes, it's food, it's nutrients, it's nourishing your body, it's giving you vitamins and minerals. But I think there's also a part of it when we eat an animal that's suffered, and that anxiety, that fear, that stress is in their
DNA, man.
In their body, in their cells. We digest that, and then it becomes a part of who we are.
And not even to mention all the GMO that's taking place with the animals.
The chemicals, the processing, the other things. So if you look at, what I would recommend is people start to look at what Dr. Michael Greger is putting out there.
Okay.
Milton Mills, Neil Bernard. I mean, there's so much information that's there.
Then for those who are interested in learning, because a lot of people dealing with chronic illnesses and that could be linking back to, and if you eat the wrong kind of vegetables, you could have problems too. Just if you're eating, because they're GMO the vegetables, and they're doing all kinds of
anything can happen, but the thing is, it's also about what the body was really built to handle. And you can look at, the time frame it takes to digest meat versus the time frame it takes to digest, a plate of vegetables.
Yes.
The energy that your body has to use
to digest the meat.
To digest the meat. I mean, it's pulling from, other functions that the body could be doing, like healing you, and it just giving you energy to exercise, to think, to love. I mean, I could really go off on a tangent here, but I'm gonna try not to.
No, I get it. But no, I think what I want to do, I want to pick this conversation up again when we get back on stateside.
I think we should.
And I want to really have you talk about your business that you're building. I want you to talk about the color of green.
Okay.
I want you to talk about just some steps in your journey.
Okay.
So this is a part one right now, because I really want us to have this conversation and focus exclusively on this transformation and the benefits.
Yeah.
I really want you to break down the benefits. This is how it has benefited me since I did it. And because there are people out here struggling, and they're they don't know. And so they're just listening, and you're not giving them saying, do this for you. You're saying, this is what you did for you.
This is what I did, yeah.
I think that would be a great follow-up to this. So everybody, I want you to stay tuned for part two when we get back stateside, because I think it's what you see here in Ghana and other parts of Africa. You see a lot of raw, fresh vegetables. You see cooked vegetables as well. Now you see the goats and the cows, and you see the chickens and what you got? What's that face? You can't leave that face like that.
No. Something that I thought about was the fact that we were talking about connecting the dots, and your thing is bridging the gap, which I love so much. Our ancestors did eat meat, but it wasn't at the volume and the rate and under the conditions that we do now with these Western standard American diets.
Yes.
So a goat, would get sacrificed.
Oh, I saw it.
But that was for a celebratory purposes.
Yes, it was.
And that's like once a month. So they were eating meat much less
than what we do
what we do now. So I'm not, even though I'm like now becoming a tree hugger, basically.
Okay,
and
that's what they call it. Okay.
So I love animals, and I just, it's sad to me to see. But you
understand that part of the world.
But I understand that for survival.
And cultures too.
And cultures, that might be a part of it, and there's no judgment there.
Right.
What I'm saying is,
Consider this.
we're out of balance
Where we are.
with the standard American diet.
Understood.
So
Out of
I'll
balance.
just leave it there.
That is perfect.
Yeah.
So when we come back, we're gonna talk about the balance and how we can. Well, I want to talk about your story and how this has worked for you and the benefits.
Okay.
I'll ask you this: do you think people should come on this tour?
10 times yes. Like, book it now. Book it now. Even if whenever you get your 2022 dates out
Yes,
there,
they're out there.
look for them, because you will not be disappointed.
We got a couple 2021s waiting, a couple 2021 dates they can join in on.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
November,
Yeah, I
December?
dropped the December in there.
What? Okay.
Yeah, whenever they want to come.
Book December.
There you go.
Don't miss out.
So you heard it right here from Harriet Pritchett, and she is joining us. We're wrapping up another Maximum Impact Travel experience. Make sure that you visit MaximumImpactTravel.com. Make sure you subscribe, like, and share as we continue to bridge the gap between Africa and the African diaspora. We're telling our stories. We're changing the narrative, and you can be a part of it. The time is now. So until next time, be good, be safe. Talk to you.
Open up your eyes and see all the fun and mystery. Take an African adventure with Darren and Destiny. From the mountains to the shore, so many things to explore. Take an African adventure with Darren and Destiny.
The Adventures of Darren and Destiny. And Darren and Destiny are twin brother and sister, and you go on their adventures throughout the African diaspora, meaning so African diaspora destinations, primarily focused in Africa, but we go to South America, we're going to go to the Caribbean. Their first book is going to take you to Ghana, and then we're going to go on a safari, and from there we're going to go to Ethiopia, and then we go to Salvador, Brazil. And what the goal is to be able to inspire curiosity in the continent of Africa, in our children from a very young age, and to really tell a more accurate story. Most of our children are exposed to negative images, late night infomercials about how bad things are, everybody's sick, everybody's poor, everyone's uneducated, but that's simply not true. So what Darren and Destiny and their family do is they go to different African destinations. They are learning about these different places. You're beginning to see positive images, but still telling the truth. I mean, that's the important thing, to tell the truth about some of the things that have occurred. But it's all done on our children's level so they begin to understand it. And it begins to pique their curiosity. They begin to learn more. And hopefully one day they will want to explore and visit the continent of Africa and its many countries. There's just so much that Darren and Destiny are able to do, and as they're doing it, it's like they begin to open the minds of a new generation, and they don't get bombarded and indoctrinated with negativity. They're actually able to see positivity and inspiring images and messages about the African diaspora, as well as those who are still indigenous to the continent of Africa, and they begin to learn more and just see things differently. So I'm excited about introducing the Adventures of Darren and Destiny.